We have time for one more, and then we're going to get started because there's a lot of information, friends, on this element 15.
I will.
Oh, great. Hey, Loretta.
Oh, hey, Vanessa. I fell down since I've been retired. I got off my daily routine of working out and still eating healthy, but gained 10 pounds. And last week, one of my 77-year-old clients, who is an RN working on her bachelor's degree,
that's just amazing,
texted me and she said, "Are you still going to the gym?" I said, "Yeah, but I've fallen down kind of." She said, "Well, can you meet me there at 9 o'clock?" And to tell you, that 77-year-old woman, she can keep up with me, and I couldn't believe it. But yeah. So now I'm back in the gym 3 or 4 days a week.
I love it. And look at you being spurred on by your 77. Okay. All I got to say is ain't no excuses for the rest of us. So you have a 77-year-old client who is telling her coach to meet her at the gym. The rest of us, no excuses. And working on her bachelor's degree. I mean, that's goals right there. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but for me, like, that is goals. That's amazing. So thank you so much for sharing that, Loretta. So I have said this the last 2 times that I've led coffee chat, that there must be some reason that my week falls on a certain element. It's because obviously I need to hear it and I need to learn more about it. And I've said all along, I think there's many times that we skip over transition and we kind of skip over the long-term plan. We just focus so much on the 5 and 1 or what we're doing at the beginning. And I've told Kelly many times, I feel like we really need to spend more time here. And so that's what we're doing today. So we're going to be going through element 15, and I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, everybody see the screen here? All right. Okay. Okay. All right. It's going to be how to eat healthy for life. Okay. So I have now been doing program for, well, let's see, August will be 4 years. And I started out, I lost 50 pounds and became a coach and got involved in the community and wanted to help people. But honestly, still long-term, we have to learn this component. This is what makes this different than being on a diet. I don't know about you, if anybody on here has been like a yo-yo dieter. I really wasn't a yo-yo dieter, but I know many of my clients have spoken of that. And this right here, it's what's going to keep you from doing the yo-yo and honestly not looking at this as a diet. I so many times I will have clients talk about cheating, and I have to remind them over and over and over again, or you put a little, that's me in the chat if you use the word cheat, because we really don't use the word cheat. We've got to transition that word to choose. It's all a choice. They may not always be wise choices, but they are in fact choices. So today, this is what we're going to be talking about and how to do this. Has anyone ever wondered to themselves or asked their coach, like, am I just going to have to eat fuelings for the rest of my life? Anybody want to put that in the chat if that's something you've either wondered or asked? And I can't read the chat. So Kelly, if people are saying yes, let me know. So what we want to do today is we're going to understand the mindset of a healthy eating system. Okay. We're learning a system through the habits of health and eating 6 times a day. Here's what I will tell you. 4 years later, I still eat 6 times a day. I still drink my water. Okay. And I am maintaining. And those are choices that I make each and every day. And I think there's a lot of information. I cannot read every single chart in this. You definitely need to go through element 15. And Kelly has a great tip she's going to share with you guys at the end about how to have those charts handy. But I'm going to focus more on the fact that this is a daily choice, whether you're on this journey, you're day 1, you're day 30, year 1 or year 2, it's still a daily choice. And, there are times when I still have to go back to Kelly as my coach, health coach, not business coach. So you're always a client first. And you got to know that it, just like Emma came off and shared about, with having that accountability and allowing yourself to be placed into accountability, and never push the coach to the side. Like if you're struggling, the natural inclination is to stay away from the coach. I would ask you and challenge you to, when you feel that, go against that natural inclination and reach out to them. They have learned, they have been in classes, they have had training on how to help you. What I'm going to say, just pivot your mindset, pivot your choices, pivot your actions. So when you feel that, and you feel that need to shy away because maybe your choices have led you to a place where you're not happy with, go against that. So the skill set we're going to talk about today is learning strategies for portion control. That for me is my number one roadblock. Anybody else that's their like portion control? It's not even what I'm eating or the temptation to eat something that I shouldn't, that's not going to get me to my goals. It's portion control. I don't really ever sense full. Very rarely do I just sense like I'm full. I'm one of the clients who I was hungry all the time, even though I was eating 6 times a day. I mean, I have clients I'm having to force, you have to eat all 6 times. That was never me. Kelly never had to tell me, did you skip a fueling, or ask that question. She knew. All right. Tools for healthy eating and identify solutions to dining out, which, we're big dining outers. We're empty nesters. We don't have kids at home. We eat out a lot. So I have learned how to eat out and still be on maintenance and choose wisely. And you can too. All right. So the action is, we're going to implement a blueprint for sustainable success in managing your eating patterns for life. Okay. So this is where Dr. Anderson, and I don't know about you, but Dr. Anderson, just such a heart for people. Really, really, really. And it comes through when you meet him in person. It is not just a put on. My healthy eating system is designed to help you monitor and manage your energy intake while ensuring that you get a healthy, balanced diet. So that is his goal. And that's what he wants you to learn from this entire system. And I am trying to, all right, why is this not wanting to move? Sorry, guys, I've got my view here is, okay. Okay. 3 important benefits of Dr. A's healthy eating system. I'm going to tell you also, your why is going to be so important here. If you are not clear on your why, staying in this healthy eating system, no matter how wonderful it is not going to be sustainable. Your why has to be important. I've talked about mine many times, but for those of you that don't know me, and I wish I had a picture, but mine are my 2 grandbabies. I have a granddaughter and a grandson that were born 16 days apart in January. And even when I started this 4 years ago, Kelly asked me why, and I said, I'm going to be a grandparent one day. And I don't want to be a grandparent that's sitting in the chair all the time. I want to be an active participant in their lives. So that is still my why. And now they're here. So, all right, you've got 3 important benefits. Number 1, it's automatic. If you are learning these healthy habits and you're continuing to place them in your life on a daily basis, it's automatic. I eat every 2.5 to 3 hours automatically. It supports healthy nutrition and it teaches you to eat healthy for life. And I don't know about you, but that is something very, very important to me, and something that is very appealing, that I'm not constantly having to learn some new system or a new diet or a new fad. Like, I know what I'm doing. Okay. So optimal health. And this is where we get into, sorry guys. Okay. When you eat something, if it is a balanced, calorie, healthy fueling. And one thing I forgot to mention that I read about our fuelings, which I thought was so just awesome. Okay, so Dr. Anderson says on page 284 of our Habits of Health book, this is what he refers to as far as our fueling. So when you ask that question, am I going to be eating these the rest of my life? This is what he said. Our goal is to initially use the prepackaged fuelings to help you lose weight safely and effectively in a goof-proof way. When they are combined with a lean and green, the fuelings are highly effective at producing predictable weight loss. Now that you are in transition, their role will change to being a convenient, fast fueling to overcome the times when healthy food is not available or you are limited on time. So do I still eat fuelings 4 years later? Yes, I have some that I absolutely love, and grabbing a bar or a shake when I'm out and about and doing errands it's easy. I know it's fueling my body properly. I don't have to think about it. And not sure you've been at the grocery store lately, but it's way cheaper than anything you're going to find at the grocery store. So just saying. All right, so you've got your balanced calorie healthy fueling. That's you get your fuel from your food, and it keeps your insulin stable. That is the key to all of this. And that's what Dr. Anderson says. He wants your insulin staying, maybe a little bit like this, but as best you can, keeping it like that. So that's also what keeps your weight stable. Any excess fuel enters the fat cells, which are functioning normally, and they fuel from the fat cells between meals is what keeps your body going. And that's where your energy comes from. Okay, so this is going to be your key to everything you eat, whether it's vegetables, whether it's grains, fats, fiber, meat, although they don't really use a glycemic chart for protein, for meat, but all the rest, this is what you want to know. Green is lean and red is death. So basically you want to stay from anything in the red, and there's multiple charts on all of these things. And so basically this is a glycemic chart, and actually Cheryl referenced this last week. And you've got your low, which when you're on the 5 and 1 or the 4 and 2, you're going to be over here in the dark green. That is what's best for weight loss and optimal health, like broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus. Those are things that would be in the low. I believe they have 15 or less. Is that calories? Cheryl, she knows these glycemic charts way better than me. So on your, yes. Okay, so you've got like zucchini, you've got spinach, you've got peppers. Those sort of things, you can eat really as much as you want of those type of veggies. Okay, then you're going to have the moderate, which is going to have 20. Then so that's like green beans, raw carrots, eggplant, things like that. And then you've got the high glycemic, which would be things like peas, corn. Those would be eaten rarely. They're not a never, but they're a rarely. The moderation is that light green, and the dark green, within reason, you can eat pretty much as much as you want with that. Here is the key to all of this, is this 9-inch plate system. This is what you use for the rest of your life. So go to your pantry, take out all those huge 12-inch plates that we have, and get you some 9-inch plates. This is what it's going to look like. If you have it like in 4 sections, you have 25% grains, 25% or less fruits, and 25% or more veggies. So your veggies and fruits can kind of go together. But honestly, if you're really wanting to keep an eye out, and because sometimes fruit has a lot of sugar, you can increase your veggies and decrease some of your fruit, and then 25% protein. And so the proportion of your meal, 50% of your 9-inch plate between the two, your fruits and veggies, would be about the size of a, what do they say, 100-page small paperback book. So that to me is a little, I don't know. I think I would do better just looking at the plate, trying to think about a book, but that's half your plate needs to be fruit and veggies. More veggies, a little less fruits if you need to, and you're seeing your weight kind of go up. Okay, so on your fruit glycemic chart, things like, hey, you know what? He said an olive is a fruit. I did not know an olive was a fruit. Did you guys know olives were fruits? I did not know that. And an avocado is a fruit. You learn something every day. I didn't realize that. So those would be on the very low glycemic. Then you've got like apples, nectarines, peaches, things like that, that would be eaten in moderation. And then the ones that would be rarely might be like pineapple, watermelon. As you know, that has tons of sugar and you would be aware of that. Okay, so portion size. A tennis ball would be your grains. A deck of cards is your protein. I also heard that like that could be like, if you look like, if you cupped your hand, like the bottom portion of that too, as far as protein, I had heard that before. And then the small paperback book, fruit and veggies. So he kind of shows you here, like what you're looking at for, again, for me, I think just looking at the plate and putting in, if I know I'm doing a 9-inch plate and 4 sections, that's going to be way easier as far as what I can see. Okay. So here, this is just a list, and Kelly's going to talk to us about how to save these type of lists on your phone, because I think it's important to have this. And so you can see there, like I look at some of these things and I'm like, what is fennel or leeks? I'm not sure I've ever had fennel or leeks. Does anybody else eat those things? I've never had those. I will say, like, as part of my weekly diet, what I eat the most out of this is going to be zucchini and squash. That would probably be what I eat the most out of those on a weekly basis with mine. Okay, so the next one, he's talking about, see, here you go, olives, avocados. Who knew that was fruit? Maybe some of you did. I didn't know that was fruit. And I did know a tomato was a fruit. I'm very glad to know I could eat as many tomatoes as I want, because I do love tomatoes. Okay, so here you go. And again, I'm not going to read through this. There's no need for me to read through this entire thing. Okay, now this one is interesting, pasta. And this would be part of your grains. Glad to see sweet potatoes on there, brown rice. I'm not a rice eater. So, but again, you can take a screenshot of this if you want to. I'm not going to read through all of this. All right, here's, I think, where our biggest issue would be is dining and ordering out. So if you, again, visualize divisions on a 9-inch plate, most restaurants you go to are going to serve you so much more than that. So he gives you some options of what you can do. You could order 2 appetizers instead of 1 entree. You could split a meal with the person you're eating dinner with. Do not rely on the chef to serve you the proper amount or ounces. John used to laugh at me when I was in the initial stages of weight loss. I used to carry this little pocket-sized food scale, and I would weigh my meat at the restaurant. Like, I didn't care. I'm like, whatever, it's my journey and I'm investing in this. So who cares what anybody thinks, whatever. Honestly, it opened up conversation. So that's just me. I don't worry about things like that. I'm just like, whatever. So I did that and on my weight loss journey, and, but people then after a while, they would be like, oh yeah, she's getting out her food scale. So, or you can ask for a to-go box. That's another thing that I do. The minute they set it on the table, ask for a to-go box. Go ahead and, portion half of it right into the to-go box. That helps for people like me, that if you put it in front of me, I'm going to have the temptation to eat whatever is on my plate. I grew up with the generation of you eat everything that's on your plate. So for me, that's a struggle now. And so if it's in front of me, I eat it all. So it's a really good idea just to do that from the very beginning, get into the habit of asking for the to-go box, taking half of it off the plate, and it gets it out of your sight. You don't have that temptation anymore. Okay, so what I would say versus like what action, I don't know how many people are actually on transition. But somebody want to tell me, like, was anything for you like specifically eye-opening from this? And again, like, it was a lot of charts, So I told Kelly when we got on, I'm like, this is kind of difficult because it's almost better for you to just go find the charts and have them in a place. So Kelly, you want to share your idea that you and I talked about? And then after that, I see Michelle had something.
Absolutely. One of the things that I did when I hit transition was I went into the Habits of Health book. And I usually recommend this to my clients too, to go into the Habits of Health book under 2.5 and 2.6. And you are going to, I'm sorry, 2.5 has some, well, 2.6 has some of them, but most of the charts are all located in the Habits of Health book 2.5. There you're going to find all of your high glycemic and low glycemic index charts. And even though their meat and poultry are not carbohydrate sources, and they don't have an effect on your blood sugar, you will find some charts in there on page 250 and 251 for your meat content as well. You have healthy fish and seafood, the fat content of meat and the fat content of poultry. So Vanessa's exactly right. There's no glycemic index chart for that, but you're still going to find your charts there for the protein sources that are going to tell you the total fat and saturated fat for them. So they show you the ones to stay away from or to eat less often versus the ones that are going to be healthier for you. But one of the things that I did with each one of those charts is I just took a picture with my cell phone and then took those pictures and stored them in a notes section on my phone. That way, when you're at the grocery store, if you're shopping for peas or beans, or, there's actually charts for those. Even cheese, your fruits, your vegetables, all those kinds of things. While you're at the grocery store, then you don't have to worry about jumping onto habitshealth.com. Just open up your notes section, go to your charts there, and you can go right in and see which will be your healthier choices to help you on your journey. So that was just a quick, easy way for me to kind of keep track of them and then to have them right there at my fingertips. Obviously, we all keep our cell phones with us. So, but once again, there you will find all of those different charts. You can also get those at thehabitshealth.com as well. But I just have found in that book, it's just easier just to snap those pictures.
Right. I love that. Thank you, Kelly. So, all right, Michelle.
Okay. I was surprised to see that durum pasta is lower GI than potatoes. You would think that, something that's less processed and a whole food would be better for you than a processed food. But it is I have to think about that more. So I just wanted to say that was a surprise for me.
Thank you for sharing that. I don't even know what durum is. So you can tell I'm like some of these things I don't even, I leak. I've never had a leak. Cheryl, go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, durum is the whole grain. It's not been stripped. Okay.
I knew you
it's
would
a layer
know.
of the grain. And a leek is it's kind of like a very mild, I can't even say onion. But anyway,
okay.
Also fennel is really fun because when you have like an Italian sausage,
okay,
it is that licoricey background that you taste in that it's not really licorice, but it's kind of got that tendency. And anyway, you can buy that whole and it's very mild when you buy it whole and replace it in like for an onion. You can dice it up and cut it up. It kind of looks sort of like an onion. It's a little more elongated. But anyway, I think what I wanted to hop on is address the pasta thing, because I want everybody to know that if you want to stay in your glycemic index for pastas, I suggest looking for bean-based pastas. So you can get pastas made out of lentils,
yes,
legumes, different things, different types of beans, black bean spaghetti. Those are actually going to help you stay within your glycemic index even more so than the whole grain pastas. Just wanted to share that.
Well, y'all, I told Cheryl, I said, we were laughing. I was telling her about, I'm like, you should be doing this element versus me. She's got so much background knowledge in all of this. She has a degree in this. So anyway, thank you so much. And can you tell I'm from the South? My family didn't never do anything with a leek or a fennel. So like I never grew up with any of that. So, but again, this is what community does for you. I've eaten with Cheryl before and I loved what she made, and it was completely different than anything I knew how to make, but hey, it expanded my palate. And I love actually what you were talking about, Kelly. I did notice the same thing with our meat. And then he suggested, I'm trying to think, on our protein, like 1 or 2 times a week, like substituting, is it legumes? Is that how you say that? Legumes?
Yeah, legumes.
Legumes. Okay. He
Those
said
are beans.
yes. And I know Cheryl loves beans. She encourages me all the time with beans, but it says including chickpeas, beans, soybeans, and lentils are a wonderful alternative protein source. So I think he recommended like at least maybe once. I recommend eating them at least twice a week or more as your main protein source.
They're full of fiber too, and they make you feel satisfied and full.
There you go. Okay, guys. So you know what? That is going to be my goal for the week. Something I'm going to challenge myself to do is one day this week, probably before convention, I am going to substitute a legume for my protein. So that's what I'm going to take away from this element is this week, I'm going to substitute my protein with a legume. Anybody else want to say what they're going to do because of this particular element? And then we'll have to go.
I think there was one question in the chat about the number on the high glycemic index chart. And I think that that number we have to remember relates more to the amount of sugar that is in
sugar. Yes. I knew that yes.
The effect that it has actually on your blood sugar levels.
Yeah, I knew that didn't sound right when I said about calorie. That didn't sound right. Yeah. So perfect. Okay, thank you for addressing that, Kelly. Yeah. And then also in here, we didn't talk about it, but it does talk about dairy. So if you go in there, you can look at because what he was saying with dairy is, he said dairy products are not a necessary food group once we reach adulthood. So, and he said a lot of dairy has a lot of calories. So he suggests you avoid them at least during your weight loss phase. But if you enjoy them, they can be a good source of calcium, protein, and other nutrients. But he said a 1 ounce serving of cheese is only the size of 2 AA batteries. So like, that's all you should be having. And I know for me, again, like if I'm eating cheese, it's more than 2 AA batteries. So I'm better to just stay away from it. So anyway, and of course, like on the cheese, just so y'all know, like my favorite is cheddar, and literally it is the highest on the glycemic chart. So I need to stick with cottage cheese because that's the lowest. I have so enjoyed my time with you guys. I hope you've learned something from this element, at least if it interests you to go learn more about it. Remember that you can always go to the Optavia YouTube channel and find the element there, and you can like listen to that. It will give you some great tips and just keep it in the forefront of your mind as you're driving to work or wherever during your week. So that's always a good way to like learn something new and then go back to your book and take the snapshots that Kelly was talking about and keeping them in your notes. So you guys have a fabulous 2 weeks. It's going to be 2 weeks before we see you guys, and we will see you. I don't know. Is that August actually?
It is August 30th.
Oh my gosh.
30th. We'll be at convention. For those of you that hopped on just a few minutes late, we mentioned at the very beginning, we'll be away at convention. So we will see you on August 30th.
Not 30th. August 1st? Or is it July 30th?
Not August, July 30th. July 30th.
Yes.
We come back from convention and we'll see you the following week, which is July 30th, not August 30th.
Yes. You guys have a great Saturday.
All right. Bye-bye,
everybody.